go. Whilst you're coming out of the pits, I'm just going to make sure I've definitely got enough space in this folder to save the recording. Yep, we do.
Okay, I can't. I don't think. Are you talking loudly?
I was talking medium, but is it too quiet?
Talk again.
Okay, so this is my volume. I can.
No, I can't hear you.
Right. Okay. So there's a thing I can get you to do. So can you bring up Discord? I can't remember if we've got a button to bring up Discord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is that not OBS? Oh no, that's Discord. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, it's just because you can see my Discord. So on the left-hand side where you've got all the channels and you've got the little room that we're in, if you right-click on my name where I've got like the green circle around my face at the moment because I'm talking, if you right, can you see like in the coaching voice channel that we're in together? You might be on like. So, yeah, I'm trying to think how I can show you. You can see my screen right now, right? Oh, hang on. No, you can't see that. Hang on. Let me just bring up my Discord. This will make sense in a second. You can see the little load. Yeah, I can see that you can see this screen. Okay, so when this loads, so I'm just loading Discord on my other computer. Right, on the left side here, can you see where my cursor's going up and down? Right. Down here in the coaching voice channel where we're in together, can you see that on yours?
Yes.
If you right click on my name like I'm right clicking on your name, there's a user volume. Oh, is it? So maximum already?
Yeah. I think it might be a setting that we.
Right, what can I do to change that?
Is it the setting?
We can turn down the iRacing volume, but I don't want to make the iRacing volume too quiet for you. Yeah, my microphone's on maximum, and if you've got me on maximum, then that's all we can do in Discord. Okay, the other thing we can do is actually like the Windows volume settings. That's probably the next.
Changed this somewhere. I remember doing it.
Okay, have you got a volume control for iRacing on your steering wheel or button box? Did we change one of those to be volume? If not, we can do it manually. It's not a problem. Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, I just saw it came up volume full. So I don't want you to turn it. I don't want you to turn it down so low that you can't hear the car. Is that all right? There we go. We did think ahead. Right, I'm getting back on board with your car. There we go. I've got the same on mine. I'm turning you down here because I don't need to hear your car loudly. You forgot you're on the international. Right, okay. So everything's on. We're all recording. Yeah, cool. Right, so let's just do a few laps. Do enough laps that you're comfortable with the car. I'll keep quiet unless we need to talk. I'm watching you on Discord, you know, on your screen as well. So on the recording, you'll see me watching you from behind the car, but I'm on board with you. I'm going to remove that penalty. I thought we made your car your colours, but maybe that never happened.
Didn't happen.
Right, I'll speak to Van Gien, because he definitely started. I'm going to also remove that penalty. It's going to take a little while just to get the feel for the controls again, but hopefully it won't take as long as it used to, because you've got better controls. Yeah, it's a very different line into that corner, isn't it? Depending on which version of the track you're doing. That's good, though. You do get up to speed much quicker than you used to on the sim. Oh, nice. I don't normally see you spin on this, so that was. I like that you're accelerating hard enough out of there to make it spin. I'm just watching it back.
I think I just turned it too tight.
Yeah. You can see your trajectory was just a little bit too much steering angle. That's all. Yeah, you weren't aiming to run out to the exit curb. The chicane up until then was great though.
Not enough.
Just checking. Can you still hear me right now? No. Okay. If I do Discord on this computer, it doesn't work. I just did a little test. Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I just switched Discord to my other computer so that I could record your screen, you know, like what you're actually doing. But it stopped you from hearing me because the microphone's plugged into the PC, so it was a test that failed.
Braking too late everywhere.
Yeah, that was definitely too late. But you knew it. Like you recognised and said exactly the thing I was about to tell you. So okay, that time it was a good exit. Don't worry if it's not like perfectly accurate on this first run. You will be after you've had a couple of like breaks in between runs. You'll just nail this accuracy. Yeah, so times are still coming down and down and down. I think you're less than a second off your best ever lap now, though. So you're like in the ballpark now. I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, you're less than a second. You're 8/10ths off your best ever lap that we've done here. So it's a 69.89. Really way more accurate there. So the next step will just be fully using those curbs, and that's just going to give you a massive time gain. Let's go to 10 laps if you can manage it. I don't want to like overstrain your shoulder in one go. But it's quite a short track, so it's only like a 10-minute session then. So basically 4 more laps after this one. Look, you're already 4 tenths up, so you're halfway on this lap to matching your best ever. So that was really good on that first curb. We just weren't at, we just weren't at the right angle across the curb. You used the right amount of curb. We just hadn't got it rotated enough on it, but that's fine. Very consistent though, and still quicker. So 4 more. That was a really nice entry to Stowe. Look how much time you gain. Nearly half a second you gain from doing it like that. That was really good. So 3 more laps from here. Yep, exactly the right diagnosis. It's very good that you can recognize, even if you make a mistake, if you can tell me back, what the mistake is, that's great. So I'm going to remove that penalty. That was awesome though. Like, you're exactly right. It didn't rotate enough because you finished braking too soon. That was all. That's the same in the final chicane, by the way. In the left-hand part of the final chicane, so the next corner, that's why it's going a bit deep, because you're finishing the braking a tiny bit too soon. It's that bit there. So it's kind of as you're at the apex, we need to have still a little bit of brake on.
Okay.
Right, so I think 2 more. I might have miscounted, but 2 more from here. You can see how much better that rotation was. But that's the starting point for sure.
I'm braking too late for that as well, I think.
Okay, that's an easy fix for the next one. Okay, so that's a really, really good start. Look at the green. Look how much green you're getting there. Because you did the first part of that chicane so much better. That was awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So, you're welcome to do another lap if you want, but if you want to... Sorry? Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, have a little rest. Right, some of that was really, really good. The fact you got up to speed so quickly is the best bit. Just hop out of the cockpit so the data uploads for me. I don't know which button. I think we made a button so you could just press and hold it. It's one of the ones on the steering wheel, but I don't remember which. Is it bottom left? That's only because that's what I would do. Oh yeah, that you got it. You got it. That's the one. Cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that data upload. So we said you didn't need to go beat. Okay. Okay. I've just realised my camera wasn't on it. Right, there we go. My camera's back on. Sorry, because I changed computer, it stopped it. Right, you might notice your face is frozen on the top left. It doesn't matter. I don't need to see what your expression is. That's just a. That is on OBS. If you bring up OBS and we find the camera that we probably named it. And then we'll then hopefully the data will be uploaded by then. Right, okay, that's it. Okay, so it'll be one of the, I guess it's face cam. Yeah, face cam. If you right click on that and then go properties at the bottom, there should be a, there we go. Click deactivate and then activate. And it should then like just refresh it. There we go, fixed. Thank you. Okay, so grainy. It's because it's dark in your room, I think. It's just low light level. If you had your lights on... Yeah, if you had your lights on, that'd suddenly go all really crisp. It's the same with mine. Okay, right, so let's talk about your laps. So I said your best ever. I brought it up before the session. This is... I've put my today's lap versus your best lap here. So you did 109.898 on here. You actually did do a lap like a couple of hundredths quicker than that, but this was the last one you did in the session. So I assumed this was probably like closer to your like natural plateau, like whatever you're doing here is probably most accurate. And you're only, so that's basically a 109.9. And in that session you did a 110.262, so you're like 3.5 tenths off, and that is with massive time gains on laps that weren't as quick. So for example, the final chicane on this lap, this was your last lap here, the final chicane was so much better because at this point here, although you still went in a tiny bit early, you see the car kind of like goes towards the apex and then you're like, oh no, that's too soon, and you stop turning and then you turn again. Even with that, because you kept braking until there, you see the lights are on, it rotated better and you weren't out over by this curve here. And so from like here onwards, you actually had the space to get into this one and it went green, 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 green. So that in itself is like 3 tenths or whatever. So I know you then went wide on the next one, but it's probably because you got to here at such a higher speed than normal and you came off the curb there actually. It's that kind of, that bit that made it difficult. If you stayed on that curb slightly longer, then you'd just make that last corner fine. But let's look at your best one anyway, and I'll grab the data up for it. But that's a part, shoulder aside, just like driving skill wise. Okay, it's not like, it's not gonna do like long. Oh, don't worry, it's OBS and the that webcam being a pain. Mine sometimes does it and then doesn't do it at all for like weeks and weeks. We might just need to switch everything off and back on again, and then it'll be fine. That's one of those problems that. Why is it not bringing up your results? That's weird. Just check you're not sat in the car for me. I am sat in the car. Just hop out of the cockpit, and that should force it to upload the data. Yeah, just go in the garage for a moment. That's all. Whatever button you press and hold, you held before, that'll do it. I think it was left, wasn't it? That's it. That's the one. There you go. Yeah. Once you're out, just don't press anything. Or we'll do it with this. That's it. Yeah, you might have just held the button too long or something. Right, I can see the data's coming now. Here we go. I've got it. So this one here. Interestingly, your fastest lap was one of the only laps of the session where you didn't get an off track or put a wheel off. So that's clean. Right, let's add it to this. I'm interested to see what you're doing differently to the last time you drove, because you've had enough time away that you won't necessarily just be doing whatever the habit was before. Okay, so interestingly, turn 1, you're way faster now. So today you're the green line, and before you were the red line. So turn 1, you're now way, way better. Like, I don't know what's happened there, but...
I don't feel like I'm making the apex very much.
Yeah, so let's look in detail. Yeah, so you're closer to the apex than you were last time out, so that's good. But yeah, you turned in a little bit late on that. You see the green line at the end of the straight turns a bit later, and so you basically stay the same distance to me. I'm the blue line here. You stay the same distance all the way in, but because you've gone in later, you never quite made it to the apex. So let's look at what that looked like on here. Hang on. Is that... What lap am I looking at? I'm looking at a 10.58. Ooh, I think I'd rather... I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to look at your 10.2, because that's the one... I know this was like the fastest legal one, but I don't actually care if you get an off track. As long as you're not like cutting a corner. Let's load the one that was actually quickest, which was actually the next lap. Yeah, you got a purple final sector on this one. Right, so same thing again. Let's see on this. Oh, this one's even closer through turn 1. Okay, but still slightly late turning. You can see actually this one, it gets wider and wider. So yeah, so that's this lap we're on here. So let's look at what it looked like. Yeah, you can... It's just... The only reason you don't make the apex is just because you turned a little bit late. Yeah, you did this initial turn quite well. Like the gentle... Yeah, like the gentle loading up turn where you kind of put a little bit of weight on the outside before you commit to the bigger turn. That's pretty good. But you see how you're like straight here and then you turn. Yeah, your main turn happens like here and it's just slightly too late. That's all. So that's an easy fix. But you just have to kind of get in tune with the sim and the car and how much grip you've got and the speed. You know, that's just kind of an accuracy. That's fine. The good thing is your braking point is, well, you're braking later than me. You're braking harder than me. We see that quite a lot. And remember, we worked quite a lot on getting your braking to look a bit more like it did in the red here, but not quite as late as that, where because you're not in a single-seater, braking from 200 down to 40, you don't need to be like maximum or like nothing, and you're in deep into the ABS there at turn 1. I'm just scrubbing off enough speed so it turns. So that's why obviously your speed line drops so steeply. So we'll just maybe brake at a similar point because you're lifting at exactly the right point. You can see here, like it's like just less intensity. Yeah, less intensity but a bit longer, because if you're braking at like whatever that is, I'm at 40% and you're at 100%, you'll just need to stay on it as it turns. But that'll stop it running wide there as well, because you'll still have weight on the nose there. Right, so that's turn 1. But generally, pretty bloody good. Like, that's a decent effort. You're way less over-slowing it than you were before. Right, and then into first of our hairpins. I've forgotten all these corner names again now. Let's call this one Abbey. No, Village. So what's really good is you've got this very sharp minimum speed point, whereas in the past, you've kind of gone in and been a bit too fast in the middle, like you were there with the red line. You were quicker than me in the middle, that then pushes you wide. Now you're in the right direction. You've got this kind of sharper point where it will rotate, but we're not perfect. We're still kind of over-slowing it slightly. So let's just look at it. So let's have a look. Yeah, okay, we got it in a bit late. Yeah, this is quite an obvious one, isn't it? Yeah, we didn't get it in as tight to that curve. So we just want to be fully on that curve. Did we brake too late? Let's have a look. You brake later than me. Yeah, quite a lot later than me, actually, so that's why. So I'm braking at 774 metres, and you're braking at 804. So yeah, you're like 30 metres later, but then you're, boom, 100%. But we don't want you to have to be like, shit, is it going to stop? I'd much rather you were like a tiny bit safe on the braking point, but you can be perfectly accurate with where you nail the apex every time. So same again with like less braking intensity, but over a longer period. Because I stopped braking when you stopped braking, but I've started 30 metres earlier and managed to guide it towards that apex because of that weight on the nose. So there we go, it's easy to understand. Let's look at the next corner. We'll look at it on the data first. So that's then this little kink through here. Okay, interestingly, yes. Let's look. I am not flat. I'm having a big lift, and I'm dragging the... Oh, no, hang on. Sorry, I'm talking crap. Sorry, no, I'm talking crap. Because I was into the braking zone for the next corner. It is flat. We're both flat. Yeah, it's this bit. Sorry, I just can't read data properly. Yeah, you're not losing anything there. You're only losing what you lost from a slower exit to the previous corner, so that's fine. Right, sorry. This is the corner we're talking about. So, obviously this isn't flat. This is almost an identical theme to what we spoke about on the other corners. So you can do a longer, gentler brake, and that will, instead of your speed line dropping steeply and then having to speed back up again, you'll already be going the right speed when you get to the apex, and you'll just be able to smooth the accelerate off. Because the big difference here is, in the middle of this corner, you're doing 5k more than me, but on the exit, you're much slower because look how wide it goes, because you're on the power. So where we're going to make up time isn't in the middle. You're already going basically too quick in the middle. We're going to make up time from where the little red dot is on the map here, from here to here. So basically the braking phase, which is not going to brake as hard, and just like slow it down more smoothly, but that will give you the ability to get it right onto that apex curve. In fact, I think you nearly make it to that apex curve on this, but you're just going so bloody fast. Yeah, yeah, you went over that curb here, didn't you? That threw you wide here, because normally we want to be up by the white line over here. So you had a compromised entry anyway, and you braked like late, hard, and couldn't get it on this. Having your car, rather than that angle, but obviously that angle where my cursor is, and on the curb, is just going to give you so much time down the next straight here. And obviously the distance you're travelling out here, you're allowed, it's just way further. So, right, that's that bit. These are all really obvious things. You don't need me to talk you through this. It's just, it shows you how much time is there, and you're already close to what you've done before. Okay, this into Stowe, this was one of your best, I think, through here. This was certainly a decent speed, and what I can see here is one of the first times where you're really trailing the brakes. Like, just here, the green at the bottom is really good. Like, you're actually keeping some weight on the nose into this corner. And actually, it's allowed you to go through the middle a bit quicker than me. Because you've come in a bit slower, you're really lined up well, and you're a bit quicker through the middle, and you match me on the exit. So here onwards is great. It's the same thing again, though, where you can... This is almost... We could apply this speed trace to every other corner we've seen, where you slow down more and more harshly, and then from the apex onwards, you're pretty quick. It's just we've lost the time from there to there. So it's all because you're braking... I feel this when we're in the car together as well. Like, you're so confident to nail the brakes hard, but there's potentially more time in not doing that, but just travelling faster for a bit longer with a bit less brake. And it's the same. So instead of 100% brake, we'll still brake quite hard, just not quite as hard, and a little bit earlier. And then keep that trail on. But with less braking intensity there, you'll need slightly more trail braking intensity down here. So instead of your 11 or 12%, will be like 20%. I know you can't judge exactly that much percent, but you know, you get the idea mentally. You're doing less braking in the braking zone and a little bit more percentage braking up to the apex, and then you're going quicker for longer, and you've got weight on the nose, and it'll just be slightly quicker. But Stowe, you're pretty good though. Like, you're not losing a lot of time. When you look at the delta down here, like, there's no big step or anything on the lap time. Like, from here to here, you're talking like half a tenth or something. It's not a lot, so that's not a corner that we need to focus on particularly. So you can carry on doing it similarly to what you're already doing. I think it's these, exactly, yeah. It's just these slow corners here where we do see a bit of a step. You see on the delta there's like a lap time step. And this is, same again, look at this. You're later on the brakes than me, you're much harder on the brakes than me, and then it pushes you deep into the corner. So basically, by winding everything back just slightly, like braking slightly earlier but slightly softer, you'll just make the apexes at a better angle. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That really fucked you for that corner. You can just see how hard it was to get into the next one. And that's the only reason why the next corner is a bit slower. So just there. And yeah, you can see you were slower than you were on your previous best into the tight right-hander just because of that. That's it. Like, but there's nothing complicated. Like, you're already really well on track. In fact, we didn't watch the video of those bits, so let's just look at the last bits. Yeah, so line through Stowe is really good. Look, this looks really nice. Like, you could maybe touch the curb a bit more, a little bit more. But on my best lap, I didn't quite use the curb there either. I was similar to you, maybe touching the white line. I should have used the curb, but it's not like the end of the world. And yeah, here. Yeah, you can see you just physically, you couldn't get it there. You wanted to get there, but you were just going too quick to make it. And obviously then that gives you no room here, and then you're just much slower through this whole next section. So it's all obvious stuff. But the fact that we had so much to talk about there, even though that was quite a good lap, means you're going to annihilate your previous best. Like, if your shoulder holds up for this session, like, you're going to be way quicker. It's just by trying to be slightly slower. So, recap, accuracy at turn 1 rather than trying to go through crazy fast. Same at the next corner. Same at the next corner. All of the corners, it's the same story. That's the aim. Let's do it. What's it doing? It shouldn't be doing. Oh, you got a pit limiter on? Yeah. Which button did we choose for pit limiter? Yeah, so it says pit speed still. There we go. You got it. Well done. So just give it a lap or two for the tyres to warm up because you don't have tyre warmers. But yeah, 100% the focus is on accurately making it to those nice big flat apex curbs at the angle you want to be at, and don't feel like you need to brake super late. Whatever your natural braking point is, that's probably too late. Yeah, bring it back from there. Even on the outlap, you can see you're like 0.2 quicker through that final complex. Okay, so obviously, excellent apex. You just were going a bit too quick, a tiny bit too quick. But the accuracy in the line was like mega. So just a tiny bit. Oh, and that looked really good as well. So just a tiny bit more brake pressure for turn 1 than you did on that lap. That's all. Or a tiny bit earlier. I can't tell before we look at the data. And even that, look, you're a couple of tenths, nearly 0.3 better through there because you actually hit that curb and launched down the straight. So. Even though that was like really under control, really smooth, look at the massive time gain you made. So only comment on that final section is you might need to lift as you turn right into the final tight corner. But really, really good sector. Excellent turn 1. This is looking good. So your optimal time now is quicker than your best ever time. We just haven't done all the sectors on the same lap. Yeah, really, really nice. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit late on the brakes, that's all. When you nail that first part, you will have to have a little lift to get it to turn right into the second part. So that's all that went wrong on the previous lap to that, was you got the first part really good, but then you were going so quick into the second part, it needed that lift. You're getting so much better through turn 1 now. Okay, yeah, just need a... Exactly, yeah, it's the final part of the braking zone that's the most crucial part. It's that bit just before you arrive at the apex. That's the bit where you really make your choice on how much do you want it to rotate. And I can see you've done like the hard work on the approach to the apex of village, but just as we arrive at the apex, you take the weight off the nose and it can't turn. So it's that last bit that is the crucial final factor that rotates the car. It's the same with this next corner as well. Obviously, it's not as tight, but it's a similar thing. So it's the final approach to the apex. You need to just get it tweaked in, and then you go for it. Nice. We can build from that. Yeah. Yeah, it got a bit unstable through the cut through, and that delayed you turning in. You were like waiting for it to stop bouncing. That's what it looked like. I'll tell you one thing though, you're really good through Stowe, so we really can forget about Stowe. And that, again, was just a bit late. So what I need to do is give you a braking marker. So I'm going to just, whilst you're carrying on with this lap, I'm just going to look at exactly where I'm braking. So you've got a physical marker point. And then we won't have to guess. Right, it's before the 100-metre board is where I'm braking for that final complex. Right, got it. That was very accurate. I just came back on board with you and you were on the apex. Okay, that was earlier. That was good. And you can see it's going green. I think you can go even earlier and at a slightly higher speed. So, but that was still a nice little mid-corner improvement. Okay, so for the next corner, I'm braking before the 100-metre board. And if you get it stopped too soon like that, you know you can brake slightly less hard. But even that was good in the middle. Look at the green! Green, 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 green. Even though you overslowed it for the first part. That was way better at the end. Okay, so that early braking massively helped you into the final chicane. Lovely, 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 lovely turn 1. Okay, get all the way left before you brake for this. Nice. Good line. Nice. So maybe just a little bit more brake at the end of the braking zone for that. But your braking point's okay now. It's now going to just be about judging how hard to press the brake on the approach. Because obviously you can stop it too soon, and you don't want to do that. But you can also brake too little and end up going deep like we did there. So this is just practice now. I'll tell you how many more laps we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 more at the end of this one. I'm going to give you some specifics, a bit like that break before the 100-meter board. I'm going to give you some specific objective things to aim at on this next run when we've gone through the video. Things like brake pressure, that's a tricky kind of concept. You know, it's a certain percentage you're trying to hit. I can't tell you exactly how hard to press, but I can tell you exactly where the car has to end up. Non-negotiable things like you know, which curbs we have to be on every time, and we can also talk about braking points, like the last possible moment you can brake, so you're not tempted to go any further than that. Okay. That's a better positioning. Because you look like you just got straight to full power. So your line in was good. I'm just watching it back now. Yeah, okay, so it's all bang on. Absolutely perfect. And then you were like, cool, so I can go straight to full power. And it's like, well, no, well, maybe not that. Like, you still had to wait for it to do the final bit of rotation, but everything was set up, ready for it to be a perfect corner. You were then just too eager to go straight to full throttle. That was all. I'm going to show you this one on the replay, though, because it was like a really good corner entry. Right, let's do one more. Good, well done for being patient that time. You just waited to go to full throttle. Oh, lovely. Really, really nice. That's more like it. That's more like it. Lovely. So that whole sector was great. You have to treat it like a Porsche Cayman, not like a Formula 2 car. It needs to take its time to get through the corners of it. Ooh, well done for making it. Okay, so let's just stop after this run here. So anywhere you want, we'll hop out of the cockpit. So your outright lap wasn't quicker than your previous run. It was quite close, at 10.4 versus a 10.2. But that was a legal lap, so that's good. So that was a fast one with no off tracks. But there were some places where you definitely lost a bunch of time, which is easy to recover. But there were also some places where you were much, much better. So before I show you the data, whilst it's loading, let me just show you the... Sorry? Have you only got 10 minutes left? Or have you got more time?
Might be able to squeeze on an extra 10 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't sure if we were doing an hour and a half. I couldn't remember what. Okay, fine. So that's fine. I've got loads of time, so you go when you need to go. This was only supposed to be a bit of a warm-up, shakedown session anyway. Anyway, this was one of your slowest laps overall, but there was a section that was really, really good. So if I go to it, So this was the 114.9 or whatever it was. Right, so here, this is the one where you went wide on the exit of the cut through at Chapel. No. Yes? Yes. So this is like the closest you've been to the white line here, which is good. Like we want to be out wide here. Other times you've come through this kink and you've just accepted, well, I guess I have to be in the middle. This time you were like, no, you just told it to go left and it went where you told it. And this was all good, right? So if I go in slow-mo, look here, you get it set up. It's aiming at the apex. This is like lovely. Right now you can see that is going to go through that corner perfectly. But because you go, you can't hear it. I can hear. Bam, you're like full throttle now. Like you're already full throttle. There's just no way it can make it.
I think I'm just treating it a bit like Abby.
Yeah. Following lap. So the next one, which in fact, if I just click on it, there we go. Following that, really, really similar thing, but because of what we just spoke about there, so that we get over, we weren't quite as close, so you had a slightly less ideal approach, but you got it into the apex. Same, look, you're aiming right towards the bit of dirt here, like, but you waited. Now you're at full throttle, and it went through like perfectly. So the message is, don't rush the car's rotation. So you don't have to get it like stopped, turned, go. It can be like, it can be rotating over a longer period as long as it is actually rotating. It's just not a super grippy, super lightweight vehicle, is it? It needs time to get itself through the mid part of the corner. And I think you are often guilty of wanting the car to just do stuff it can't do. Like you just want more grip. Like if it had more downforce, more like stickier tires, etc. And it's that like little bit of patience. Suddenly, the moment you just wait, I see it go green, 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 because instead of getting on the power early in a particular corner and pushing a bit wider, and maybe you feel like you're doing something, you're like, okay, well at least I'm on the gas, so I'm pushing it on. Because it's taking longer to finish the corner and you're going wider, actually it's not quicker. Whereas around the tight corners, like this one here, it's this bit here, so we're in Village here, it's this bit here, getting the rotation there, that is crucial. That was really nice on that lap. You didn't end up over here, and it's all because, I'll get the data up in a minute, it's all because, if I listen to it, now you're picking up the throttle. Whereas normally, you're coming in a bit on the limit, and about here, you're like, right, let's go. And the car just doesn't want to do it. So I think we're narrowing down to like a bit of a common theme that might have been traditionally holding you back in terms of lap time. And it's this like, first of all, the trail braking at the last moment. So not doing maximum braking and then nothing, but doing less hard braking, but enough to get it turned, but staying on enough at the end of the braking zone so you really get it rotated when it can rotate at the lower speed, because it can't do it. You know, when you're doing like 110, it's not going to rotate. When you're down to like 50, it's got a bit of a chance to do it, and you go a tighter distance, you know, you use the curb, you're going shorter, and you're then earlier to full throttle. Let's get the data up and have a look. So, yeah, so I know you didn't go quicker, but I bet we see corners which were better on that one. So here we go. It's purple because it was your quickest legal lap anyway, so at least it's easy to find. Let's make this one bright pink so we see the comparison. Okay, so I know there's a load of lines on here to look at now, but I can see the reason it didn't beat your best lap is because something happened at Stowe. I think maybe we just overslowed it at Stowe. Did we run wide? Maybe you're just being cautious. But yeah. Yeah, so that particular lap, we were a bit slower. Okay. So the first corner, we're still slowing it a bit early. Yeah, so we've still got, you know, I wanted you to do this kind of flat, gentle brake over a long period. We've still got quite a big brake and a little early, but what was different, you were definitely slightly closer to the apex though. Like the purple line got tighter, but I don't want you to get tighter by kind of braking wrong, if that makes sense. Yeah, I want you to get tighter by being smooth on the brakes and loading it up at the right time. Let's watch what it actually looked like. Because visually, this is why the data is so important, because it looked pretty good. But what I'm not seeing is the exact speed you're doing. So this is good. The fact you're out on the curb is good. Yeah, I can hear you're back on the throttle pretty early. So, yeah, we just need a less hard brake. And definitely, if you get fully on the curb, it makes it way, way faster through there. So, but you'll do that by being on the brakes when you need it to be. Yeah, look, when you finish braking. So you finished there. We're nowhere near the corner yet. Whereas I'm not finished until there. I'm like nearly at the apex at that point. So that's definitely the big difference. That'll come. We're just going to keep working on it. Like, the good thing is you're not being a wimp. You're going through the middle at a very similar speed to me. You're 3 kilometers an hour slower through the middle. But we've already given away. No, but okay, but you know what I mean. Like, you don't want to throw away your lap. But by wimp, I mean like being too cautious, so you like protect the lap and you definitely don't go off and ruin it. Like, your mid corner speed is good, but you're like stopping it and then staying at it. In fact, look how you get down to your minimum here, 167. You're still doing 166, 167 here in the middle. We shouldn't be doing that minimum for very long. It should be down to the minimum and straight back up. Because you only need to be at the minimum at the tightest point of the corner, which is like there, I guess, or just before it. Whereas you're like getting down to it, staying there, then speeding back up. Not intentionally, obviously I know you're not doing that on purpose, but that's what the outcome is. So to avoid that, we're going to do flatter, less intense braking over a longer period. I know I'm repeating myself. Right, into the next corner. So into village. This is better. This is better. Look where you're... Okay, there's loads and loads of lines here, so it looks confusing, but the purple line is now much more early than the green. You're slowing down earlier. We've still got this 100% braking or nothing, so we're still going to work on that. When you look at all of these lines, there's 4 lines here on the braking section. There's only one which looks different to the others. The green, the red, and the purple are all straight to 100 and then off to varying degrees of timing, but it's not, and they're all later than me as well. So you're still braking later, but you're doing that because, sorry, the reason you're going to 100% is because you're braking later. You have to, otherwise it won't bloody stop. So you're making the best of it. You're making the best of the line. I mean, look how good the line is there. It's like on top of the blue line. You're making the best of that for the braking style you're doing, but you can just make your life easier by braking a bit earlier and just not quite pressing it as hard. Yeah, 50% nearly less, or maybe 40% less pressure, but just keeping that for longer. That's all. But yeah, we'll fix it. Your mid corner speed is bang on. Your mid corner, what you were doing at the apex there. Yeah, I'm doing 81, you're doing 80. It's like basically exactly the same. It's just hard to be consistent with that when you're like on the limit of brakes. You know, if you're not on 100% braking, you're not going to make that apex. And you're not always going to brake at exactly the right moment on exactly the right position. And it's going to be hard for it to rotate when all of the work the front tyres are doing is on stopping you. If, like, my front tyres are only doing some work to stop me, which means they've got some energy left to do, you know, to keep rotating. Yours are like, bam, like maximum stopping power. So when you want it to turn, it just can't quite give you that extra input. So anyway, that's what we'll keep working on that. But you lost less time because the line was good. And then we've got the next corner, so you're still obviously flat through the kink. Okay, so a bit like turn 1, you're good through the middle and better on the exit than you were before, but we're achieving that by getting it stopped a bit soon. So obviously your speed trace, your purple line is slower here, and then in the middle, you're basically right. But we're having to slow it too much in order to get that middle. So we want same minimum speed in the middle, same line in, apart from definitely we want to be closer to the curb on the approach, but just not braking as hard. Your braking was different. Yeah, and you've moved towards the braking style I wanted you to. We're just nowhere near it yet. You're now not on 100%. Look. So the purple line on the brakes is like 70%, but look how much lower mine is and how much longer mine is. Because I'm going quicker, I have to be. Because you've stopped it, your braking line has ended at the right time for the speed you're doing, but you made it go to that speed, if that makes sense. So if you brake less hard, you'd be going quicker, and you'd have to keep braking until there, rather than having to stop back here. So that's the difference. We're going to make up time on all of our entries by squashing the brake intensity down. At least it's the same thing everywhere. It's just going to be varying degrees. Then Stowe, we just screwed it up on that lap. I think you actually braked harder than you normally do on that one, but that's fine. On other laps, you've been much better. The final sector, though, this is where we're going to make tons and tons of time. I think there's a...
It's really inconsistent there.
Yeah, so you see this, that is exactly correct, because look at how inconsistent the throttle traces are through it. It's like a mess of line. They're not all on the same thing. They're all doing different things. But the thing that's absolutely screwing you here on your purple lap, which was your best one from that run, is look how wide it goes through the right-hand part of that final chicane. Because you didn't lift, exactly. When you zoom in on the throttle trace, I could hear it happening and you can see it happening. Look at the purple there, where all of the rest of us are at 0%. Purple, your last lap there was at 43%, so it couldn't turn. It physically couldn't turn. And when we go there, you see it happen. I was like willing you just to lift a moment. It's this bit here. So, you know, you're a bit tight anyway, because we've gone a little bit deep here. So we've gone a bit quick there. So you definitely are going to have to lift. But you kind of keep a constant throttle. Here, 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 here. Now you increase. What I want you to do is make a very, very clear connection in your driving brain with, when I want it to turn a tight corner, we have to be off throttle to force. Yeah, it needs to be like lift in conjunction with that steering input, like at the same time. And it'll just rotate quicker and you'll be back to full throttle earlier. I know this is all stuff you know. It's just you haven't been doing it for a while, so yeah. So it's not...
What I'll do before my next session is I think I'll come on here and do my first session on my own so I get all the shit out.
Yeah, yeah. Like kind of blow the cobwebs off. Yeah, look at your purple throttle trace here. You're like, there should be no time in any driving where your throttle stays that constant unless you're flat out on a straight, basically. Like, if you're ever holding it like this, you've forgotten about the throttle. Like, you've forgotten that that's one of your inputs. You're just, like, concentrating on something else, and then it's like, oh, shit, yeah, I'm doing a thing with this hand at the moment. So, yeah, that is why that final sector wasn't very good. It was all because of that. No, obviously we went in a bit deep. On your red line, which was your best ever lap, obviously look at the line. It's here. Your red line is really close to the blue line. You've slowed it down enough. You've made a nice apex there. You haven't gone deep. So the purple and the green, which is today obviously, that's a different thing to what you were doing previously through there. And obviously that's having a negative effect. So that's something we can work on. We've got loads of time though. We've got plenty of time to work on it.
We've got loads of time, but my first session in the car with you is on GP,
Right, okay.
and then the next one is on international. So shall we do international until the session before in real life session?
Yeah.
And then the week before, or the session before our in real life session, we'll do the GP.
Yeah.
We'll go back to international.
So our first session...
International. First session is 23rd of Feb.
So that's your first session in the car.
On the track.
Yeah, I've got that in, yeah.
The 18th of Feb.
That's Grand Prix, you say, is that for... I'm going to write it on my diary. So Grand Prix.
The 18th we'll do GP.
Yeah.
And the
18th, yeah. I'm going to... So I've got you in here as Sim Nathalie, but I'll put on here GP so I know. But the ones before that, which are... the 4th of February is the one that's just before that one, right? So that'll be international. And then... No, I'm just checking what else I've got in here for you.
Can I book in with you on the 3rd of March?
3rd of March.
Just I've only booked up to February, and that's the week
Yeah.
of our testing and race. So 3rd
Yeah.
of March, I think, or 4th.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th, I'm available on both.
Okay, let's do that.
So Sim... What version do you want there? Not the international. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So just so we're definitely synced, I'm just trying to see where I'm... Okay, I've got 24th as our next one. Is that right? Our next sim. 10 a.m. on the 24th, I guess international again.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Helps if I can spell.
And then 4th of Feb.
24th. Then the 4th. Yeah, they're all in here. Yeah, everything's fine. Then the 18th and the 25th. Yeah, and in real life 23rd and the 3rd. Yeah, got it. Awesome. Okay. And do you want all of these to be 1 hour? I know at some point we said an hour and a half was like, it meant that, I don't know, I thought we changed to an hour and a half to give you to give us more time to do more kind of debriefs and runs again. I don't care, so whatever works best for you. So I'm entirely like fine with whatever works best. So. Okay. I don't want to overload you physically either. I mean, I don't want to hurt your shoulder, for example. Okay. Got it. Cool. Okay. This is all good. What I'll do in a minute actually is yeah. Got it. Cool. Right. Let me stop this recording and